You see, the previous two Paddington films had Paddington doing adventurous things in London, but in this one, he's in Peru. So, it's like the first two, but different. Paddington in Peru, released a couple of weekends ago exclusively in the UK in 2024. The US will get it eventually, but this guy got to see it a little bit early, which is so freaking cool because I love this bear. And this film is directed by Dougal Wilson, who made his directorial debut with this movie. And this film is starring Hugh Bonneville, Emily Mortimer replacing Sally Hawkins from the first two movies, Julie Walters, Jim Broadbent, Carla Toes, Olivia Colman, Antonio Banderas, and the voice of Ben Whishaw, who voices the lovable and the person that we need in all of our lives, Paddington Bear. The Browns family have grown up and drifted apart over the last several years, but Paddington is still loving his family and his living arrangement. But one day he gets a shocking letter from Aunt Lucy talking about how much he misses him, and Paddington gets the urge to go and travel to Peru, to the home of retired bears. And as the Browns family accompanies him to Peru, they learn that Aunt Lucy has actually gone missing from the retirement home and seek out on a Peruvian adventure to find her. And along the way, he meets several goofy characters in the nun who runs the retirement home, played by Olivia Colman, and then a boatman who travels with the Browns for a little bit, who's obsessed with finding treasure, played by Antonio Banderas. So I don't think it's news or shocking to anyone when I say that the first two Paddington Bear movies are just wonderful, and they make your heart just feel so great. And the stories, the messages that we see, and we see Paddington grow up with the Browns family, and we see how the Browns family adapts their ways and their way of thinking to Paddington Bear. It's so heartfelt, it's so inspiring, it makes your day better. Those first two films are incredible, so when they announced that they were making a third film, and hell, I even think that after this one announced that they're doing a fourth one, it makes me very happy. Whenever there's any news about the next chapter in the Paddington franchise, I am there, because this bear, this lovable frickin' little bear, is so genuine, and he really needs to be in every single one of our lives. That's how great of a person this little tiny adorable bear is. And this is the first one with a different director than the first two, so I think a lot of people were a little skeptical as to the quality of this Paddington movie compared to the first two films, and I'm happy to say that the story, the characters, the relationships, everything pretty much matches the first two Paddington films. Now I will say, maybe it's because this is brand new and it needs to have time to settle in. I don't think that the emotional moments of this film are as impactful as the first two Paddington films, but it's like slight. It's so slight, because I was definitely crying at the end of this movie when a certain decision is made, because you want him to go a certain way, but then he also finds something out kind of special about himself, but his reasoning for his choice, I mean, that just... it gets you tears. And any movie that deals with someone choosing their family, which is really what the Paddington films are all about. It's this bear. He is a bear. He is not a human, even though people see him and talk to him as if a talking bear is a normal thing to see in the streets of London. Genetically speaking, he doesn't belong with the human brown family. But Paddington chooses to have them be his family. And I think that's way more powerful and way more special than just saying, oh yeah, that person is my dad because he created me. I'm related to him by blood, or that's my cousin, or that's my brother, or that's my fifth cousin twice removed, all because you share slight DNA and blood with each other. It's way more powerful, way more special when you choose your own family, and that's what Paddington continues to do in all these movies. And it brings tears to my eyes, and it makes my heart just feel so warm, which is what I really need right now in this world. And the Browns family are great characters in their own right. Hugh Bonneville, who plays Mr. Brown, he's always the tentative, playing it safe type of person, but then his boss, brand new boss actually, Haley Atwell, comes in, and she has parachuters coming in to deliver her coffee, and she's like, no, embrace the risk. So this entire movie, Mr. Brown is really putting himself out there. He's done it in the previous films, but here, I guess for me, he does it to the extreme, because there's this purple, scary looking tarantula that images keep following him around everywhere until he actually meets one. And, you know, I aspire to be Paddington in my life, but in that moment, you know, sometimes you can aspire to be Mr. Brown as well. Now, probably the most shocking moment in this film, and I didn't realize that this was happening because I haven't watched any of the trailers or saw any of the posters, but Emily Mortimer steps in to play Mrs. Brown, who was previously played by Sally Hawkins. And that just baffled me. Like, why are we recasting her? Was she doing something else? Is she busy with something else? And then I look it up and she says, well, I feel like this was the perfect time to leave the franchise. Why would you want to leave this perfect franchise? Why would you want to do that? These actors, man, I don't know why they make certain decisions, especially when you have a gig of such a purely delightful thing. Why would you give that up? Why? Why would you give that up? You gotta do what's right for you. I understand that, but I think Mortimer is a fine choice to replace her. She does a great job in the movie. I think, you know, now that I think about it, I think this is probably the reason why maybe this film is just a slight nudge below the first two movies, is because in the end there is supposed to be this heartfelt moment between Mrs. Brown and Paddington, and because it's being played by someone else, they have little tiny flashbacks to the first Paddington movie, but because it's not the same person, I don't feel like that moment landed and hit and as impactful as it should have been if it would have been played by Sally Hawkins, because she had been there from the beginning. Again, that is a slight nitpick, but I do think that it's worthy of commenting on. Paddington finds himself in humorous adventures, and sometimes things go completely wrong, but he keeps his gentleman charm about him. The boat at one point goes down some rapid water, and he is just tied up in the steering wheel. It's hilarious. God, I love this bear, and I love this movie. I love this franchise. Please keep making Paddington 4, 5, 6. Give me 20 more films of this adorable little bear, because I think the world deserves it, and it absolutely needs it. For the American audience out there, once this film is released here in the States, I implore you go see this, because the more that you support this adorable, genuine bear, the more and faster we will get more Paddington films in the future. Go see it! I'm going to give Paddington in Peru 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good. Good.
So guys, if you've seen Paddington in Peru, what did you think about it? What is your ranking of the entire Paddington franchise so far? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.